Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another new pen, and I'm pretty sure you can read this. This is the Platinum Curidas, and this is the outer sleeve that it comes in. And I was a little bit torn on whether or not to order one of these because I thought it would actually be quite cheap. The price of this pen is around about £85, and I'm used to something like a Pilot Vanishing Point of similar sort of size and that being a little bit more, maybe even double more, around about the £150 mark. So for me, I wasn't sure about buying this, and everything, all of the pictures online I saw made it look a little bit cheap. But nevertheless, I did order this, and I ordered this from Steffi at fountainfeeder.eu, and I'm glad that I did actually. So let me unbox this and I'll show you it here. So this is a Platinum. Now, I will say that I do have another Platinum, and the reason why I didn't actually think this would be that good was because I have a 3776 in a medium nib, and I find that nib is very sharp, very scratchy, and it just wasn't a pleasant experience, and I've had to smooth the nib a lot. So let me open up the sleeve, remove the sleeve here, and then you have this very sort of plasticky box. It's not a expensive box, it's really, really lightweight. So if I open this up, you will then see Platinum Japan 1919, and then the Curidas sitting on its bed here. Now, if I remove this, you will find a number of things. You will find, obviously, the baguette that the pen came in. You will also have this tool, and I'll show you this in a moment. And then you have this Curidas booklet here, and you'll see that it does have it in multiple languages, but it's still not that clear, I found, on how to fill the pen. Now, you do also get a little tag, which was this thing, and this does actually give you the sort of details there of the pen. And then you have an ink cartridge, and I hadn't actually realized this when buying it, but this doesn't actually come with a converter. Now, I did say I was going to show you this as well. Now, I'm not going to do it, but this is the clip removal tool, and what you do is you push this on here like so, and that will help move that metal bit off of the clip. So that actually comes with it, and if you're not careful, you can break it, so you do have to be a little bit careful. Now, I did say that this looks a little bit cheap from the images online, and I have to say that the plastic isn't the best on this pen, but I'm actually surprised at how good this pen feels in the hand, and it doesn't feel cheap at all. The only thing that does feel cheap maybe is this sort of tail end button here, the mechanism. Now, it does say Curidas here, and you do have the clip that you can see there. Now, that clip may get in the way of people holding it. You also have this little nubdule down here. So if I press this button in, you will notice the nib comes out, and that nubdule here is for this bit, and it's the door closing mechanism. You can see it there, so I'll do it in slow motion, and then you can see it just pop back out again. So this is why it does seem to be a little bit more on the cheaper side, and frankly it is. It's cheaper than a Pilot Vanishing Point. A Pilot Vanishing Point is a metal pen. This is a plastic pen. why did I go for this? Well, I wanted a larger nib there. I do like the vanishing point, but I do find that those nibs are quite small. Now, if I unscrew this here, you will notice this is the body and this is the mechanism. So the button. Now, it didn't come with this converter. I had to steal that converter off of my Platinum 3776. So if you want to fill this with ink, bottled ink, and you don't want to just refill the cartridge that comes with it, then you will need to buy a converter. Now, I think the exception here is that in the US, that this converter does come with it, but at least from what I've heard. But in Europe, it certainly doesn't. Now, you will find that it has a little bit of a strange mechanism here. So you have to push this down and then twist it, and then it will pop out. And this is the nib unit, and you can pull out this converter. So this converter literally just, you remove this sort of shield here, this metal shield, and that is the converter with inside it. And all that converter does is just push on to the bottom here of the nodule. So let me just remove this carefully because I don't want to spray ink everywhere. And that is the converter, and that is the, I guess, the pillar or the post for the nib. And all you do is you just push it on there very tightly, and then push this on, and then you have this bit which you kind of wonder what that's for. Now, you do have to lock this in here as well, so there's another locking mechanism so that that locks into its place. And then you have the spring, and then you have effectively the whole section here. So if I put this back together again, what you do is this grey bit here pushes down on the spring, and then you line this dot up so you can put it down this channel. And at that point you feel that it's getting stuck. You push it harder, twist it, and then let go, and then it's in there. And then you push this on like so, and you'll find that the nib is there. So it does feel or look a little bit plasticky, and it is plastic. It's not a metal pen, but I actually like it. One thing that I do like about this is I like the size of the pen. I like the girth of it. This clip itself doesn't actually get in my way. The only thing that I would say is that I tend to roll my nib slightly like that, and when I do so, I find that the metal part of the clip can be quite sharp here, so that starts to touch my finger a little bit more, and I do start to feel that. But other than that, I actually find it's actually quite a comfortable pen. Now, normally I write with a grip like this. More lately, I've been writing with a grip like this, with my middle finger just resting under the pen. And that doesn't get in the way of that nodule whatsoever for me. So I do find it's actually a comfortable pen to write with, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised because I honestly wasn't expecting much from this pen for the price point. I was actually thinking that it was going to be a very cheap pen. It was going to be a pen that probably I wouldn't write with, and I'd probably end up selling or giving away or trading with somebody if they wanted one. But I actually do like it, and I've been writing with this for about a week now, and I have to say that I love the writing experience. Now, it is a steel nib, so if I show you the nib again, you will see here that it is just a regular steel nib, but it does write well. So it's not a gold nib like you would get on, say, a Pilot Vanishing Point, or even maybe a Lamy Dialogue 3, which is somewhat similar of a pen as well. So I think let's do a size check, a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the length of the pen from the tip to the end is 154 millimeters in length, and technically there isn't a cap, but if you want to take where it unscrews, you're looking at around about 61, 62 millimeters in length. And we'll do a weight check. So the full weight of the pen, now this is inked up and it does have the converter in, so the converter will probably add a little bit more weight to it, is just under 29 grams. Now clearly there isn't actually a cap here, so I'm not going to weigh the cap, but that's not a bad weight pen. So I think let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Pelikan M600 turquoise white, a Pelikan M800 vibrant blue, a TWSBI Diamond 580 AL, a TWSBI VAC 700R, a Pilot Vanishing Point, and this is a Rawdon. We have the Platinum Curidas, we have a Lamy Dialogue 3, we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Hawaii, we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande in the sand, and then we have a Platinum 3776 Chartres Bleu. So let's do a writing sample. So I'm going to bring the nib out. Now this is a Platinum Curidas. Now I did say that it was a steel nib, and this is a medium nib, and after actually placing the order I was a little bit sort of daunted because I have a 3776 in a medium nib and it writes for me more like an extra fine nib, and I kind of thought that maybe I missed the boat here and I should have gone for a broad, and then when I looked there wasn't any broads. These are only coming in extra fine, fine and medium at the moment. So for me, I was actually kind of glad that I did get the medium after that, but this actually writes more like a medium, and it actually writes really smooth as well, which I'm actually quite surprised at compared to my Platinum 3776. Now the ink in here I have is Pelikan, Edelstein, Star Ruby, which is the ink of the year for 2019. Now this is a steel nib and it is a medium nib, so this is the kind of line variation that you're going to get out of the medium nib. If I try to push it as hard as I can, you're really not getting that much more line variation out of this. And if I do some figure of eights, you'll see here that it is still pretty much the same line variation. So you're not going to get a lot out of this nib at all. It is very rigid nib. In terms of the wetness testing, I do find that this isn't that sort of wet of a nib. And it's not just the ink, it's the nib as well. But it's actually a good nib to be able to write with in, say, a journal, because it's not a fire hose nib. It's actually it's not a dry nib either, but it's a wet nib, but not anywhere close to fire hose. Normally fire hose would be at least half the page, if not further. But for me, this nib writes very well, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Now, if I wanted to compare it to, say, my 3776 nib, this is the 3776 nib, and I just find that this nib writes more like an extra fine to me, and it was very scratchy out of the box. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Now, I do know that a lot of friends that have Platinum 3776s actually do say that theirs came perfect. So it may have just been that I got a bad Platinum 3776, but this I really do like. And I've been writing with this for pretty much most of the week, and I have really been enjoying it. It's actually been my go-to pen. So I honestly actually wouldn't mind buying another one. At this price point, around about £85, €85, this is actually not a bad pen. And it's a nice easy pen. You can take it to work. I do wonder about the durability of the pen, maybe durability of that click mechanism, although the spring inside it is actually a very large spring, so maybe that won't be an issue. But I do wonder, if you drop this pen a few times, whether or not this trapdoor would then break. But on that sort of side of the coin, I very rarely drop my pens. I do drop them now and again, like everybody does, but I tend not to drop them that much. So for me, I really like this, and I was toying with picking up the green one or the red one, and I decided in the end that I'd pick up the red one. I might actually go and pick up some more of these, because I'm really liking that medium nib at the moment. Maybe I might even go for a fine nib and see how that goes, because I've been liking more finer nibs more lately. But for me, that medium nib writes really, really well. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised at the Platinum Curidas, that it really is quite a good pen, and that did actually take me by surprise, because I didn't think it was going to be for that price point. So that's my unboxing and review of the Platinum Curidas in a medium nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.